Welcome back. Here's a couple more stories from relationship advice. One deals with a woman who is being forced to hang out with her ex and is ruining her new marriage in the process. One is about a man who talks about sex with his ex. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Here we go. This story is titled, My 32 female, abusive ex 44 male, is ruining my marriage. So, as the title says, my ex, we'll call him E, has been making my life difficult for 4 months. He happens to live in the town I just moved to. A couple of months ago, my husband, 32 male, was laid off from his job due to current events, and we moved cities so I could take a job offer I'd been thinking about for a while. About a month or so after we moved, I ran into my ex, E. My husband hates E. I mean, with a burning passion. I'm not too fond of him either. He's displayed weird, stalkerish behavior in the past, even when I was engaged to my now husband. In fact, I don't doubt he somehow found out where and when we were moving. Now, he is a lot. We ended the relationship on really bad terms, but he's still constantly guilt-tripping and manipulating me into being around him. I'm a bit scared to say no. He has a pretty nasty temper, which is what ended our relationship in the first place. Worst of all, he's employed at the same place as me. I can't risk quitting and putting my family into financial jeopardy by quitting. As a pretty conflict-averse person, I don't want to report he to anyone either. Since all of this has happened, my husband's been acting different. I've never seen him drinking this much, and he never seems to be home. The other day, he even yelled at our son, 10 male, which he's never done before. In fact, he's been really cold towards me. I don't know what to say to him. I've apologized, but it only seems to make him angrier. I'll admit it's partially my fault. I'm probably giving my husband the wrong impression, with the amount of time I spent around he both in and out of work. I can't think of any other long-term solution. I don't think I could handle the stress of getting the authorities involved. A few days ago, my husband wasn't home for the whole day. I figured he'd come back, but he left our son at home, unsupervised, for 8+ hours while I was at work. He didn't respond to any of my texts or calls. The only text he sent me that whole day was a weird message asking whether I chose him or he. He didn't come home until about 3 in the morning, and even then, he wouldn't talk to me until I admitted I was cheating on him. I have no idea where any of this came from. He's never acted this way in the 10 years we've been married for. Between the stress of he and my husband, I'm not sure what to do. Comment 1. What the F are you doing? Most people don't like confrontations, but you have cited every excuse under the sun to justify having your ex in your life. I don't think it's a matter of can't but actually won't. We have a saying in my culture about the mouse taunting the cat so that it can be chased around and get caught. You are ruining your marriage and sacrificing a good marriage. Great husband, kid for what? An abusive ex that you spend time outside of work with because he made you? Also, I'm not too fond of him either. Shouldn't that be a little stronger? Your husband hates him with a passion while you are not too fond of him. I know hate is a strong word, but it's appropriate here, I believe. Either you are masochist who loves all of this and are just giving excuses so that when you actually take the next step, he made me go home with him and have sex multiple times, you can dump all of the blame on him. Or nothing. There is no other explanation I can come up with. You won't cut ties. You won't say no. You won't go home and be with your family instead of going out with the ex. You won't transfer to another department where you won't have an interaction with a simple request to HR explaining your situation, but I guess it's too much effort on your part and might actually mean you won't see him again. The horror. You won't go to the police. You don't have the excuse of having kids. Stop now. Either cut all contact with your ex or divorce the poor husband and let him find another woman who will appreciate him properly. This is cruel. Comment 2. I don't think I could handle the stress of getting the authorities involved. Can you handle the stress of the divorce? I'm just asking. I also cannot understand hanging out with someone outside of work that you are afraid of by your own words. You need boundaries, and yes, I would look for another job. If you cannot find another job and he's harassing you at work, go to HR. If he is harassing you outside of work, go to the police. This situation is 100% created by you, and your husband is sick of your BS and thinks you're having an affair. Comment 3. If you want to be married to your husband, go no contact with and go to therapy with your husband. If you don't want to be married, then keep doing what you're doing. Comment 4. It's not partly your fault, it's entirely your fault. You keep your ex around and don't do anything about it. You can say he was abusive all you want, but your behavior tells me you secretly enjoy his attention since you don't do anything about it. You are employed at the same job as that ex, and nowhere in your story does it say you communicated that with your husband. So you're acting as if you accidentally bumped into him, but later on admit you work with him. The inconsistency in your story is something your husband probably sees as well. You clearly made your choice that you rather have your ex around than make your husband comfortable. You are a liar and he caught on to that. I also don't understand why you spend time with him outside your job. Like I said, you're a liar and your whole story has too many holes. Comment 5. There are several inconsistencies here and missing information. You say that you bumped into your ex, like this was a surprise, but a couple of paragraphs later you say that you two work together. You say that he manipulates you into spending time with him, and you say that you actually do. Why in God's beautiful blue earth are you spending time with your abusive ex-husband? Now, be real, you are spending time with your ex-husband outside of work and you are surprised that your husband doesn't like it? Holy crap, if it was me in his shoes I would have left you already. You are no victim or spectator here, this is entirely your fault. Comment 6. This woman should be dumped big time. The new husband just doesn't turn her on like the old abusive one does. It's an age-old story of the damsel in distress going with the bad boy because it's wrong, but feels so right. I just hope it doesn't end with someone getting physically hurt in a horrible way. In this situation, it's like she's standing in the middle of the freeway and trying to blame the cars for hitting her. It's her fault. She is a nightmare and the husband should move on. This story is titled, Did I Have a Right to Be Angry at My Boyfriend? So my 22 female, boyfriend, 24 male, went out last night to a club. I didn't go because I didn't really feel like it and was tired but didn't mind him going at all. Today he told me about it and mentioned he hung out with 2 girls for a majority of the night. One being an ex of his that he's still close friends with for the past 10 years, they hardly see each other. Maybe once or twice a year. I didn't really mind when he told me I was a bit jealous. But really didn't care. But then he made a joke a few hours later that last night my wanker was rated a 10 out of 10 or something along those lines. I said what? And he told me his ex had told him how great he was in bed, which I replied with what the F, that's weird. I then kind of sulked and got angry. He said sorry and it wasn't like that and she was just like that and she was very drunk. He also said she was recently single and just liked to talk about sex a lot. I was pretty upset, because I started overthinking like why would they be talking about that? I don't even know this girl yet they were talking about sex together at a club? I don't know. I didn't like it. I do however trust my boyfriend more than anything. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think he just misjudged what was appropriate to say to me. I don't know, I can't tell if I overreacted or not. Edit, where I'm located we are not affected by the pandemic. No one needs to wear masks here. Comment 1. I wouldn't be comfortable with that at all. My boyfriend hanging out with his ex alone all night? I would be upset because he's not respecting the relationship. He should have at least told her to not talk about inappropriate topics like that. Comment 2. So they rarely see each other, but they just happened to hang out after she was newly single and she just happened to bring up how good he was at sex? I don't know about his intentions but hers seem pretty clear. I wouldn't be comfortable with them going out clubbing together all night. Friendships with exes aren't categorically bad in a relationship, but in my opinion if you can't talk to your ex without talking about sex, you shouldn't be talking to your ex. Comment 3. 24 and he misjudged what was appropriate? He's either 14 years old mentally or you're rationalizing, making excuses for his boorish behavior. He sounds like a bit of a narcissistic turd intent on making you jealous and oh so lucky to have him as a boyfriend. Comment 4. He knows she gets like that when she's drunk and single, meaning she wants to pursue him, and he's okay with that. Yeah, that doesn't sound okay. I don't blame you for being mad. Hell, I personally wouldn't have been okay with my man hanging out with other girls without my presence, a relationship boundary we both agreed on, let alone an ex, so I wouldn't have been nearly as patient as you are. Either way, both of their behaviors were very inappropriate, and his ex is definitely showing interest in your man. With them still being close friends, I don't see this going well. Please be careful. Comment 5. You didn't overreact at all. I'd say he purposefully told you because he wanted to see how you'd react, whether you'd get angry or not. It's okay if he casually meets with her ex and he chats with her for a bit. But I don't think it's right to talk about sex with her. Maybe he didn't think of it that way, but now that he knows how you felt he shouldn't do it again. Good on you for being honest. If anything, he was the one to frick up. Comment 6. I would not like it if he was still friends with this particular ex after 10 years. Now to find out about the lingo at the club, it was very inappropriate. However, I would imagine everyone was pie-eyed. If she is talking sex there, wondering if when she talks to him, is it still sexual? When they text or talk, I bet you wished now you had gone. All you can be really was this little fly on the bar wall, that's all. Comment 7. Honestly, you need to dump him. Anyone still hanging out with his or her ex is clearly not over her or him. I would never in a million years talk to anyone I used to date. That's water under the bridge and should be kept there.
Thank you so very much for listening. Please check out my other videos and like and subscribe.